Hey guys, welcome back to NFL Trading Room. Today we've got a really fun video for you. We're going to be breaking down my top 5 offensive tackles in the 2026 NFL Draft. Offensive tackle is my favorite position to scout. I love scouting offensive tackles, offensive linemen overall as a whole as well. So really excited to get into this one. Let's go ahead and get into it. Quick thing I want to touch on before we get this list started. There are going to be some guys like Caden Proctor, and some others that you may say, why are they not on this list? A couple of those guys I have graded as guards, so they will come in the interior offensive line episode if they do make the top 5. So just keep that in mind going through this list. Some of those guys that you may expect in the tackle episode, I may have graded as guards, so just keep that in mind. We're going to start off with a few honorable mentions just to start this list. One was Caleb Tiernan, the left tackle out of Northwestern. A solid player, but I think he tailed off towards the end of the season. And at 6'7", 325 pounds, it's great size, but his arm length is extremely concerning. I believe he has 31-inch arms, I think is the confirmed measurement. So really, really short arms at tackle. He may not be able to stick there. And I thought the feet looked a little slow to close the season. Next up, Monroe Freeling was an honorable mention for me, and he may end up cracking this list throughout the late stages of the scouting process. 6'7", 315 pounds. I've got a day 2 grade on him right now, but especially with the way he played down the stretch in the playoffs, if he has a strong all-star performance, I believe he's in the Shrine Bowl. If he has a solid outing there, that could certainly boost him up a little bit. And then my last honorable mention is Jaden Williams, the right tackle out of Ole Miss. He's got the weirdest stance you've ever seen. He's pretty much upright, but I don't think it leads to too many leverage concerns for him. And even though he's 6'4", 320 pounds, I think he's really got good length. He typically gets edge rushers locked out with his arms pretty consistently. So I think he can definitely stick at tackle and definitely a my guy for this class. Now jumping into the top 5, at number 5, we've got Blake Miller, the right tackle out of Clemson. Blake Miller comes in at 6'6", 315 pounds. He is a senior, so he was a 4-year player at Clemson, and I've got a day 2 grade on him. He is very athletic, very, very athletic. The anchor has definitely taken a step from 2024. That was something that was a concern for me when I did summer scouting. I wasn't the biggest fan of Blake Miller. I believe I had him as OT9, may have been even lower, but the anchor has definitely improved in 2025. He's a solid down blocker in the run game. He's pretty efficient in his pass set. He gets into it really quickly. The foot placement is on point. He's got, like I said, nice footwork. I think overall he's got solid hand placement. I think it's a little bit better in pass blocking than it is in the run game. He does have some really mauling reps in the run game as well, which are really fun to watch. Some of the weaknesses I have on him, like I mentioned in pass pro, the hand placement can get a bit wide, and that kind of showed as a glaring issue against LSU. I think he could be a little bit better at passing off stunts. And there were times he played just a little bit high. I think the leverage isn't necessarily a warning sign, level threat, but it is something to keep an eye on. He had a couple of missed assignments against LSU, just got to clean that up, but he did clean that up later in the year. And there were a couple times against Georgia Tech, he ducked his head in the run game. Got to, keep your head up and keep that field of vision. And he does whiff on some down blocks when, that he connects on down blocks. He's a real people mover, but that's why I had him in that solid category, not like a great down blocker. He does whiff on a couple. And he did lose the corner against SMU for a sack, which with his athleticism was a little surprising. But overall, I really like Blake Miller. The play strength has definitely come along since 2024, and I really, really like his athletic profile. He's got the length, he's got the hands to be able to be a tackle at the NFL level, and I honestly could see him backing his way into the later stages of round 1. Next up at number 4, we have got Caleb Lomu, the left tackle out of Utah. Lomu comes in at 6'6", 308 pounds. He's a redshirt sophomore, so declared early, and I've got an early day 2 grade on him. Lomu was a guy that a lot of people are high on, and I'm not quite as high as some other people, but I am still high on him. I believe he was my OT5 coming into the season from summer scouting, so taking one step up from there. But he is very athletic. That's the first thing that jumps off his tape. He's very athletic. He's got really quick feet. He has range in his kick step when he's getting into his pass set. He's got a really nice snatch trap that he uses in pass pro. His hand placement is solid overall. I do think there are times when he lunges, but when he stays upright and keeps his hands ready to strike, his hand placement is really solid overall. I think he's a really good reach blocker as well in the run game, in zone blocking. I think he passes off stunts well. Going back to that range, I think he's got great recovery with both his footwork and his hands, being able to, if he initially loses the block, being able to reestablish his power and win the rep. Um, and there were times against Baylor where he generated more movement in the run game than I expected, so that was nice to see. Some of the weaknesses I see with him, he's got to put weight on. I don't think you can be 308 pounds. And honestly, he does look heavier than he did last year, but I don't even know that he's 308 pounds. Um, I'd like to see him getting more of that 315 range like Blake Miller is. Um, there are times where the leverage in the run game can be a problem that needs to take a step. Like I mentioned in the Baylor game, that's why it was surprising. I just don't see the drive power in the run game that I would like to see, and I think he falls off blocks too often in the run game as well. And then he really struggled against Texas Tech, which pretty much every tackle did against Texas Tech with David Bailey and Romello Hyde over there, that phenomenal defensive line over at Texas Tech. So you're going to be facing guys like that each week in the NFL. So that was a little bit concerning. But I think Lomu, while the run blocking is a bit of a concern for me, I think he may be the best pure pass blocker in this class. The hand placement, the footwork, the timing, it's all really good in pass protection, and definitely has him for me in that early day 2 range, but could certainly go on day 1. Quick breakdown in the top 5. If you guys wouldn't mind to go down below, drop a like, drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That would let us know that you're enjoying the content, and we'll continue to bring content like this to you throughout the draft season. But let's get back into the list. Next up at number 3, offensive tackle 3, we have got Max Ihenekor, the right tackle from Arizona State. I think Ihenekor is how you pronounce it, but he was a redshirt senior, so he was a fifth-year player this past season, and I've got a late first, early second round grade on him, so right on that fringe line between day 1 and day 2. First thing, NFL measurables, I see the length, I see the hand size, obviously the weight and the height. He's got it all. He's got incredibly quick feet. He is very athletic. He's a very fluid mover. He's twitchy in his hips and able to redirect his weight and his power. He's got patient hands. He stays ready to strike and does so with really good timing. I think the anchor has taken a step since summer as well. I think he plays, for a guy that's 6'6", he plays with pretty good leverage in pass pro. I love to see that. And the grip strength, especially in pass pro, I think is something that pops off his film as well. I think another thing he does well is he handles inside counters, which has been a struggle in the offensive tackles in this class that I've watched. His ability to be fluid in the lower half and mirror in pass pro is something that I find really impressive. I think when he is engaged, he's able to replace his feet well as well, which always keeps his feet under him, which helps you with your anchor and your base. When he does get beat to the edge, even though he is very athletic, he's able to use his length and extend rushers beyond the pocket, which you love to see. And I think maybe his best technique move that I love is his stab move, his one-arm stab move. It's deadly, especially against Texas Tech. He was the best tackle I've seen this year against Texas Tech. Pretty much shut both Romello Hyde and David Bailey down, which you never saw this year. And it was thanks a lot to that stab move. He was able to strike with his one hand and get a grip with his grip strength and be able to hold the line there, which was awesome to see. Some of the weaknesses I do see with him, he does lose some reach blocks for a guy as athletic as him. I'd like to see that improve. There's just not much drive power in the run game. I don't think that's a strength issue. I think the leverage in the run game, it has a bit to do with it. For whatever reason, in the pass game, he plays with really good leverage, but in the run game, he seems to kind of pop right up out of his stance. So got to fix that. I think the accuracy when he does get to the second level in the run game could certainly take a step. And there were just a couple times against Utah where he lost the corner to Logan Fano, who is probably going to be like a day 3 edge rusher in this class. So that was a bit interesting to see. But Max Ihenekor is probably the biggest my guy in this class so far at any position. I really liked what I saw, especially in that Texas Tech game. that really piqued my interest and made me want to dive into him more. But really excited what he's shown on tape, and without a doubt, mock drafts going forward, for me at least, he's going to be in the first round. Next up at OT2, it is Francis Mauanoa, the right tackle out of Miami. Mauanoa comes in at 6'6", 315 pounds. He is a true junior, so declared early, and I've got a late first to early second round grade on him as of now. Some of the strength with him, he's a vicious down blocker. The grip strength is something that you see pop off the screen when he's down blocking. You also see it pop off the screen when he's in pass protection. The grip strength does jump off the screen. I think he's a good athlete. I don't think he's a great athlete. I think the overall athleticism is good, but there are some times where he may not be as fluid in the lower half laterally as you may like, but he's really athletic getting to the second level. Um, I think he's a good puller. I think that the athleticism plays into that, but I also think he plays with good timing as a puller as well. He gets to his landmarks, whether that's as a down blocker, as a puller, getting to the second level, picking up a linebacker, blocking a safety on a screen, whatever it may be. He gets to his landmarks effectively. I really like the hand placement overall, both in the run game and the pass game. I think he swipes different pass rush moves well, whether that's a rip move or when someone tries to go to a cross chop, he's able to swipe hands and get engaged on the chest plate effectively. I did mention that he may not be as quick laterally as you may expect, but I do think he mirrors inside spins pretty well. That was probably the most common inside counter that I saw from edge rushers facing him was the spin move, and he was able to mirror those pretty well. And I do think his right hand is really strong. So in this scenario, that would be his outside hand. If he does an outside stab move, that hand is really strong on those reps. Some of the weaknesses with him, I'm not sure if he has NFL tackle length, arm length. There are people that have him graded as a guard. I have him as a maybe guard. He could certainly play guard at the next level, but I do have him graded as a tackle. Um, there are times where he plays a little bit high, got to fix the leverage. I don't think that's a flexibility issue in the lower half with some of these taller tackles, especially his teammate Markel Bell. You can really tell it by their stance if they're able to sink their hips and get into that stance, how flexible they are in the lower half. But he can get down in his stance, but he's just got to stay low at that position when engaged in the block. There are times when he ducks his head in the run game, which can lead to some missed assignments. There are some times where outside of the spin moves, for whatever reason, he was a little bit slow to react to inside moves. So whether that was a Euro step to the inside or a rip move to the inside, whatever it may be, even a stunt, got to clean that up as well. And I do think when he is engaged in pass protection, he needs to slide his feet a little better. That wasn't a problem with some of the guys we've mentioned, like Max Ahinakor or Caleb Lomu, but Mauanoa's got to get better at firing his feet quickly and reestablishing his base while he's engaged. But Mauanoa, for some people, he's the number one offensive lineman. He's not quite there for me, but I still really do like him. I would let him survive at tackle if you don't have two established tackles. Now, if he were to fall to somewhere like the Chargers, that would be perfect for them because they've got Slater at left tackle, Joe Wald at right tackle, and they can put Mauanoa at right guard, which would be really good for them. But I think he can absolutely play tackle at the NFL level, and he's going to be a really nice addition for someone in the first round. And coming in at OT1, it is just as it was in summer for me, Spencer Fano, the right tackle out of Utah. Fano comes in at 6'6", 308 pounds, which is the same measurement as his teammate Caleb Lomu, but they do look a little bit different at 308 pounds, so I'm not too sure on that. But he was a true junior, so played his 3 years and declared, and I've got a first-round grade on Fano. The strengths with him, he is an incredible athlete. He's the best offensive line athlete in this class. I don't think it's particularly close. He moves like a tight end out there. It's really exceptional to watch. Because of that, his range is exceptional in the pass protection. And due to his lower half explosiveness, he's also got plus mirroring skills, which is nice to see. I like the grip strength in the run game when he latches on. The tenacity is on level 10 with him in the run game. And while engaged, he slides his feet tremendously, like we've talked about. That's a big thing for me, that you're able to reestablish your base. I think that helps with your anchor as well, being able to not get ran through by a bull rush. And also, he's probably the best blocker at the second level that I've seen in this class from any offensive line position. His ability to not only get up to the second level quickly, but do so with accuracy is something that I really admire. And it's all over his tape. He's a great down blocker. It's powerful. It's tenacious. He really brings it when he's down blocking. Um, Now, the weaknesses, he lacks weight. That's number one. I don't know that he's 308 pounds. He looks thin. Um, and I think he does lack a little bit of length as well. And I think this showed up against Texas Tech, where you've got, especially David Bailey, who we talk about the speed, we talk about the different moves he has, but he also plays with a lot of power. He's a strong rusher. So there were a couple of times where David Bailey was able to get into his chest and really affect the play. But these were some of the specific things just from the Texas Tech game that I wrote down, like some wide hand placement, especially in pass protection. The punches were mistimed a little bit against Texas Tech, and the inside counters that both Height and David Bailey really liked to use gave Fano a little bit of trouble. And the hands were a little bit late on outside rushes, so rushes to the corner. But outside of the Texas Tech game, I know that's one that we should all value because those are two NFL rushers that he's going against. But there were still some nice reps baked in there, and really that entire Utah offense had a rough day. But still, I really like Fano. There are some people that move him to the interior or have him graded as like a center. I don't really see that. I think he's too thin to play on the interior. But I do think he can play tackle. I think the range and the timing that he plays with can help make up for the lack of length that he does have. So I really like Fano. He's going to come off the board day one pretty soon, early in the first round, I would bet. But Fano was a guy that I wasn't as high on to start the year. He had some rough performances, and then I started to see more of that 2024 Spencer Fano baked in there. So really love to see that. Really excited to see where he goes. He's going to be a really good offensive lineman for years to come. And that does it, guys, for the top 5 offensive tackles in the 2026 NFL Draft. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go down below, drop a like, drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That would let us know that you're enjoying the content, and we'll continue to bring lists, mock drafts, player breakdowns, player interviews, whatever it may be. We'll bring that to you during the draft season. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you next time.